Hi everyone, this is Men's here. I'm playing the Tier 3 Premium French Tank Destroyer, the FCM 36 Pack 40, which the main focus of this tank is has pretty good armor, and its gun, the 7.5 centimeter Pack 40/2 gun, is pretty good. Decent amount of damage, accuracy is not terrible, good aiming time, and the penetration's great for Tier 3. So you're going to be able to deal with anything that comes your way. The main problem with the tank is it's slow as molasses, very weak engine, has a alright weight, but it's very slow, very low top speed, very poor traverse speed, but it has everything else except for the speed. Hit points, normal for a TD, but it has decent hull armor. You can find a weak spot guide on my website, wotguru.com. Basically, the whole armor is very, very good on this tank. However, the upper superstructure is the weakest part of this tank, which makes it hard to kind of hold down, but at Tier 3, you can get away with a little bit more. And the view range on this thing, 400 meters at Tier 3 is excellent. And since it's a premium tank, they're most likely not going to change that. And even if you add optics on top of that, that's very, very good. If you look at other tanks, for example, their view range is pretty terrible at Tier 3. So you basically win the view range award every single match you jump into. Now, this tank, it's not for everybody because it is very slow. But if you can deal with slow tanks, it is great. But at lower tiers, since a lot of tanks are quicker, they can still get in and flank you very quick, or you can be left out of battles completely if you don't choose the right route, or if you just encounter bad luck. I haven't played this map in a while. Definitely not my favorite. So I'm gonna try to stay back and just see where the enemy goes at first and see how I can help out without getting too far away from my upper ridge. I just don't want to go down into the central valley because once I get down there, I'm very vulnerable. But I will try to set up further back here to support my team while remaining semi-safe. To see if we spot anything for me to shoot, which somebody knocked down a tree there, so I'll throw a shell that way. Okay, let's see if I can get lucky here. Yep. He's probably like, how the hell are these people hitting me? Which, thank God, this map is not for high tiers anymore. I was so glad when they took this thing out of high tier matches. Yeah, there's that little bugger again. I'll just keep using that spot since they keep giving it to us. And it looks like that guy's... he stopped. So he learned his lesson. And looks like this guy is... Let's see if I can go 3 for 3. Nope. He isn't stupid. He's like, oh shit. It's all these other guys get popped here. It's throwing the brakes a little bit. Crap. That's one problem with this is you don't have a lot of wiggle room with your left and right gun movement. So it makes repositioning a little annoying. But at least the aiming time isn't terrible. So it's not like you're waiting for 3 seconds for your gun to aim back in. But matches like this where you don't have to worry too much about being flanked or moving too far, you can do a lot of good in this tank. So I'm just moving a little closer. Might get in a little bit of trouble here, but he's not going to be out there for very long. But hell, I might as well just bite the bullet and start pushing. Just because it's going to take forever at the current rate. Okay, this guy has a little bit of armor on him, but let's see if he keeps moving. No, he's not moving to somewhere where I can hit him. I'm just sitting out here in the freaking middle, but okay, no. Gun elevation isn't great, but I thought I would have been able to shoot up on the hill without having to move. But this tank, since it is a low tier premium, you don't exactly play it for making credits, but it is a fun tank to play. Just keep in mind, mobility is its largest downfall. And if you keep in mind that, you're going to do a pretty good job in this thing because it has most other stats and you can just tear things apart if you plan for the mobility. And most low tier premiums are pretty good performers, and since this tank only really has mobility as its downside, it can just completely light up enemy tanks and you can freaking do so much damage, destroy and one-shot so many tanks like that. It's sometimes not fair, which I kind of agree. Buying low tier premiums isn't exactly the best thing to just play low tier premiums because some of them are extremely broken, but it is pretty fun playing this thing, especially if you know the maps fairly decently and you can plan ahead a little bit since it covers up that mobility disadvantage. But 5 kills, not too shabby in this thing. Sure, that's a high caliber award, and did 1,168 damage, destroyed 5 tanks, over 1,000 experience, and I assisted with a lot. Since the view range on this thing is high, you are a pretty damn good spotter because you're going to see people at least 50 meters on average before they see you, just with your base view range. And with code optics, you get an even bigger advantage over a lot of tanks, especially because a lot of low tiers do not use equipment because it's newer players. Now against tier 4s, your gun is still great with your penetration, your damage, rate of fire, everything. Just you have to keep in mind that as you face higher tiers, your HP is very, very low and you can be destroyed very quickly because your armor only really works against tier 3 and under tanks and poorly aimed shots. Things hitting your superstructure are just going to cut right through you. So I'm going to head north. It's usually where most of the fighting happens. I just don't want to be caught down the south, not have a lot of tanks down there to shoot at, and then be left as one of the last few tanks. Nothing worse than being a very slow tank against multiple tanks and not being able to get back to the cap or whatever. But this is a downside of this tank. It's freaking slow as hell. So it's nice when you have matches like the last one where you're on a small map, you don't have to move far. But for matches like this, where it's a larger map and you have to cover a lot of distance before doing anything, it's kind of terrible. Now, I don't know what these two lovebirds are doing, but it's nice that we're playing 15 versus 13. It's like, come on guys, you can do something. I could have tried to fire at that M2 medium, but I'm more concerned about getting up here. Although it looks like the enemy isn't going to last too long because our team's playing pretty aggressively. But I might get a shot in if he... there's a rock in my way. Okay, plan B, because I'm not going to get any shots in going north. Let's start heading back towards the middle. Don't think that I'm able to hit him. But I'll at least throw 2 shells that way. There we go. Sometimes it's worth throwing a little bit of shells at a building to knock it down. Especially in a slow tank. I missed him there. But it beats driving and doing nothing. So it looks like we're gonna easily win this match. That's where slow tanks are very boring to play, when you have matches where you're not exactly needed and you never can catch up to your team to actually help out. Now I didn't realize they weren't going to kill that LTP, but I'm just going to continue this way. I might have been better off going left, but I don't think I'm going to get another shot off before we win. But that's not a bad thing. At least it's going to be a victory, and I think I hit 2 shots, so not terrible. And it's better than losing and being swarmed by a lot of tanks and only getting 2 shots off. But if you're looking for a tank destroyer premium for French tanks, this is not that you have any other options. It's pretty good because it's a good performing tank. Just since it is a tier 3 tank, it's not exactly a moneymaker, and not everyone likes low tier battles or feels right playing in them. But it's not a bad tank, at least performance wise. I don't know why I just shot that, but I did. Which, unfortunately, I have no chance of making it back there, so I'm not even gonna attempt. But at least I'm cruising along here at warp speed. I might make it into the flag circle. Maybe because you're artillery and you're sitting all the way in the back, had you stayed with the team with your engine and your tracks, you would have been fine. That's why I always try to tell people in artillery, you have engines and tracks for a reason. You should use them more often. A good performing match, but win's a win, and does kind of show you that this tank, since it is a slow tank, you're going to be facing a lot of battles like this, or battles where your team just folds in front of you and you have no chance by the time you get to the enemy. But still, it's a pretty good tank. I like it, and as far as low tier battles go, I think they're fun at times. I don't like playing them often, but it is a nice change of pace. And yeah, you might be a seal clubber per se, but they are fun compared to the high tier battles at times, just mixing it up a little bit. But anyway, thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out my website, wotguru.com.